In 1916, at the height of a world tearing itself apart, a French army captain, Gaston Ripert, who was injured in the war, sent to recover in the small town of Chinguetti in Mauritania. It was a lonely, dusty place on the edge of the Sahara. So when Ripert heard local people talk of a colossal block of iron out in the vast expanse of dunes, he was intrigued. They referred to it as the Iron of God. He persuaded one man to guide him to this so-called iron, and what followed has passed into legend. After an arduous overnight camel ride, Ripert arrived at what appeared to be an enormous metal edifice, some 100 meters wide in his estimation. Partly buried in the dunes, its side polished by the sand to a mirror, finish it was a story so unbelievable it was quietly dismissed and slowly forgotten. He claimed he had seen a meteorite unlike anything ever recorded. Not a fireball, not a scattered field of stones, but a colossal mass from space, so immense it made every known meteorite look insignificant. At the time, the Sahara was barely mapped. No satellites, no GPS, just endless dunes, blistering heat, and silence that swallowed landmarks whole. The soldier could not return with proof. No photographs, no fragments, only memory, and a warning that something extraordinary lay buried beneath the sands. Scientists were intrigued, but skeptical. Explorers searched. Geologists followed faint clues. Decades turned into a century. Nothing. Ripert examined it closely. He later described strange metallic needles, so tough he could neither snap nor remove them. Details that would puzzle scientists for decades to come. Climbing to the top of the mass, he found a smaller rock and took it with him as proof. After the war, that fragment was analyzed in Paris. It was real, a genuine meteorite. The discovery caused a sensation. If the small fragment came from space, then what about the colossal iron it had been taken from? If Ripert's measurements were even remotely accurate, this would not just be remarkable. It would be the largest meteorite ever encountered on Earth, dwarfing all others by orders of magnitude. In 1924, the renowned mineralogist Alfred Lacroix presented the findings to the French Academy of Sciences and declared that if Ripert's account was truthful, the Iron of God would be, quote, by far the most enormous of known meteorites. And so began a century-long obsession. Adventurers followed, scientists followed, treasure hunters followed. All failed. Some returned empty-handed. Others returned convinced the story was a mirage, maybe just a rocky hill mistaken for metal under the cruel Saharan sun. But you know, there were problems with that explanation. Ripert was no fool. He held degrees in natural sciences and mathematics. He had spent years sending geological samples back to France from Africa. And most intriguingly of all, the strange metallic needles he described matched the real physical properties of an extremely rare class of meteorites called mesosiderites, a fact not discovered until long after Ripert's journey. These meteorites erode in such a way that iron needles remain exposed, exactly as Ripert had written. How could he have known? And then there was the fragment itself. The meteorite Ripert brought back was confirmed to be a mesosiderite, strengthening the case that something extraordinary really had been out there. Still, decades passed, searches failed, hope faded. By the late 20th century, even legendary Sahara explorer Theodore Monod, who devoted much of his life to the mystery, finally conceded defeat, suggesting Ripert must have been mistaken. Yet doubt never fully disappeared. Then, more than 100 years after that camel ride into the dark, two identical twins took up the challenge. One an astrophysicist, the other an engineer, armed with satellite data, isotope analysis, magnetometers, and an almost obsessive determination, they re-examined every clue Ripert had left behind, not dismissing the legend, but testing it systematically for the first time. They walked the dunes. They measured the sand depths. They tracked camel travel distances. They even gained access to previously unavailable aerial magnetometer surveys conducted by the Mauritanian government. And in 2025, after years of analysis, the verdict finally arrived. The giant iron meteorite was not there. At least not where Ripert said it was. For the twins, the conclusion was devastating, but also, honestly, strangely unsatisfying. Because science had ruled out the monster meteorite as described, yet still could not fully explain Ripert himself. He had no motive to lie. He gained nothing. And he left behind real, physical evidence from space. In a letter written decades earlier, Ripert anticipated this doubt. "I know," he wrote, "that some think I am an imposter, others that I mistook sandstone for iron. I shall do nothing to disabuse them. I know only what I saw." So where does that leave us? Perhaps the iron of God never existed as Ripert believed. Perhaps it was smaller, or elsewhere, or deliberately misdirected to keep its secret safe. Or perhaps, just perhaps, the Sahara is still hiding something immense beneath its shifting dunes. Because deserts erase tracks, they bury truth, and they wait. And sometimes the greatest mysteries are not those we solve, but those that refuse to let go. If you enjoyed this video and want to see more content like this, please subscribe to our channel, like the video, and leave a comment about what you think happened to the meteorite.